Hi guys, my name is Jeremiah Drummond. I am the host of In the Middle Talk Show. Mainly what this show is about, we're talking about conversations that happens in the black community. Typically, we do not have these conversations in general, and we're talking about the positives. We're also talking about the negatives within our community. And we talk about it with a panel full of black people. So we all have different experiences, and we get to share our experiences to you. All right, so today our special guest is stellar nominee Reggie Rocc, nominated for his project With Pure in Heart. Reggie has released 4 gospel albums, his most recent being the very successful Project Love Letter. He is also a speaker, actor, and owner of Rock Bottom Apparel. Please help me welcome Reggie Rocc. Reggie Reg.
What's up, brother?
So tell me, what's going on with you right now?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah, a lot. Some acting, of course.
Okay.
Clothing, album, doing some touring. You know, just some.
You look good.
I'm humble, man.
Humble, hashtag humble. All right, so today we are talking about the influences of music, more particular rap music. All right, so first I just want to get, like a little persona of what you guys listen to. And that can be rap or R&B. I'm gonna start with you, Chrystan.
If I had a choice in the rap that I listen to, I would think that it's geared towards more lyricist type of artists. So of course, if you know me, you know J. Cole is my favorite artist. So
Cold World.
Cold World.
Reg?
Man, I don't know. I listen to Sade, but
Who is that?
Whoa.
Oh, I shouldn't ask that. I'm sorry.
He's too young, guys.
I don't want to do the show.
Reggie said cut.
Oh, you made my heart throb.
Hey, I will do my research on Sade.
But I like more conscious, more conscious rappers. I'm a 80s baby, so I love the old hip hop.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess I would be the mama here. So I'm more of an R&B, but if I'm listening to rap, it's gonna be some Roots, Common. So yeah, definitely old school rap.
That's what's up.
I listen to a range of things. If you follow my IG, I can have Young Dolph playing. I like, my favorite rapper is Lupe Fiasco, so it tells you I'm extreme lyricism. But I do like some Rosé, I like some rock, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z, of course, and I definitely love spoken word artists. People who spend time with their craft, really.
Well, wow, that is amazing. I'm more so, I listen to both. I listen to R&B and hip hop, but if I had to choose like a mixture of both, I would say Drake, because he gives me R&B vibes. He also gives me rap vibes as well. And I also like Black or Sid Slack. Yeah, I love Black. But since we are talking about the influence of music, how do you think that it affects the children as far as what they listen to?
I'm gonna say, as a child coming up, I was just having this conversation. When I was, let's say, 13 years old, Outkast was one of the biggest things out. So, it's different for me coming up as a child. Now, my parents, of course, didn't want me to listen to a lot of different things, but I still found my way to listening to it. I don't know if it influenced my behaviors in a way. Jay-Z influenced my business acumen, though. Like, I inspired to handle my business the way he put on in records. So I think it's a very tough question, actually.
Well, actually, man, for me, it influenced me a lot. I loved the culture. I fell in love with what they were talking about. I believed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them were believable. So I believed them, and it looked like their circumstances was a whole lot better than mine. So I thought that if I would mimic them and sort of live that lifestyle, then I could be where they are, because obviously it looks like they're living a little way better than me. That's the perception, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just fell in love with the whole culture, and it was always my escape. So away from, you know, my childhood and whatever we were going through. So I think that it could really influence you.
And okay, go ahead,
In a
Chrystan.
sense, to piggyback just, you know, basically what he's saying, you know, I love music, and it's so powerful. That's why it definitely can have a negative connotation and a positive connotation. So with that being said, I remember listening to, as a kid, Eminem. And I would always get my CD took out of my Walkman and broke. You know, once my parents realized what I was listening to. But I think even at that young age, there's some things that you really take in and you listen to, and there's some things that it's good for you. It's a healing. You know what I mean? And I feel like music heals, and it's got its negative things as well.
I think it can channel anything that you want it to, actually. I think whatever you're looking for, you can find in music.
Find it.
And I think it's already there. It's just music affirms what you already feel. And I believe it can further affirm whatever those thoughts were. But I think it takes someone, I think music should be approached just like we approach movies. You know, you wouldn't let a child watch a certain movie because they wouldn't have the proper context of what's really going on. But music is so easily accessible. It's on the radio. So, you know, we put it in a space where we expect it to be more responsible, but it's out of the same industry of entertainment, you know? So it's kind of hard for me to say, you know, to put it on music as the influencer.
I don't think it is, honestly, because it's almost like you can't tell an artist what to put out based off who's listening to it. It almost leaves it up to the responsibility of the parent and what they get a hold of. And in reality, in this day and age, they're going to get a hold of it anyways.
I think for me, as a mom, I come from a different place than a lot of people. I had to be open to my boys listening, especially my boys listening to all kind of music, because it's their voice. I think when our parents was growing up, and Sam Cooke, and they related to those artists for that time. So I try not to limit what my boys listen to, because it's their voice. Like I try to, when they get in the car with me, they're always like, Mom, listen to the lyrics. Like, actually don't just automatically be like, I'm against it. Listen to the lyrics. And some of the lyrics behind the music is giving them a voice to something. In this day and age, you gotta understand what they face every day. You know, as young black men, what are they facing that gives them a voice?
And me as an artist, though, a lot of us intentionally know what we throwing out there. Like, we know exactly what we're throwing out there and what we want that consumer to feel like. If you want somebody to feel your pain, for instance, when Pop wanted somebody to feel exactly what he was going through, you felt that. Even if he wasn't the best lyricist, but he made you feel everything that he felt when he recorded it. So I think it's a responsibility as the holding yourself accountable as an artist to what you throw out, because you know exactly what that's gonna do.
But even then, like, what do you say to the people that usually makes the comments of, hey, the reason why they're acting that way is because of the music they listen to?
I think that's a cop-out, honestly, because I think, first of all, personal responsibility is a thing that's always going to exist, no matter what medium is existing. So it's just like the same people who say, you know, the reason why I act this way because my father wasn't around. Yeah, it may have some things to do with it, but you still have a level of personal responsibility to navigate and to be the navigator of your own destiny.
Because although it may influence, doesn't mean you could put that accountability on the
Big
music.
facts. Right,
Exactly.
right. And I think, honestly, we got to be careful with censorship, very careful, because it depends on who's doing the censoring. It was in hip hop that I've discovered who Marcus Garvey was. It wasn't in the schools.
Right.
It's who I discovered the other speeches of Martin Luther King outside of I Have a Dream speech. It was these artists that were pointing me to that direction. The next track, they may have been talking about some stuff that they did in 1985. You know, Scarface and the Ghetto Boys were some of my favorite artists. It was very adult content, but they live very respectable lives at the same time. We know in hip hop, like a lot of artists don't even write their own music. This is being real with you. It's not even their own words. So, you know, can you really say they're doing the influencing if they're not even the one who's writing the lyrics? You know what I mean? So.
And then you have a lot of artists that say, well, I'm not a role model.
Right.
Yeah,
But you have a power to impact a whole community.
You have a platform.
I don't believe when people say that, like, that's like, stop, man. You don't, whenever you're a public figure, I said something like this in one of the songs, is like, when you're a public figure, you have no say-so over that anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have no say-so over that because you can influence now, whether you like it or not.
Right.
Like, I don't want them to look up to me. Right. You're like, stop it. Well, stop doing what you do and
So
stop
can I ask
wanting
you
to
a
be on
question?
camera then.
Can I ask you a question, given that you are an artist, just because I want to know? What do you say to the artist that is necessary speaking his truth and it's not nice? You know what I mean? It's raw, it's gritty. You know what I mean? And even though I know, yeah, you have to monitor what you put out, but what do you say to the artist that doesn't want to monitor what he put out because it's his truth and he wants to speak it?
That's good.
Speak it. Because actually, like, in my genre of music or what I do, I say exactly what I feel. Like, what I say is, like, get out my face with that I love God but hate your brother. Quick to shine light on all my sins instead of your own. You never doing nothing but quick to speak on what we doing wrong. You go to church, but you talk about everybody in your row. You know what I mean? Like, those right there in my genre of music would deem like, why would he saying that? Why is he saying that? You know what I'm saying? So speak your truth because it's in you for some reason. Like, why hold it in? Why hold it in? Like, let that go. Because, for instance, and that I'm a gospel artist, I have to talk about Christ. You know what I mean? Like, they were ready to kill him every time because of the stuff he was saying. They was ready to kill him, man.
Yeah, and for fear of having every mom attack me and boycott my home, I'm not a mother that believes in censorship at all. Like, I just don't believe in censorship because I feel like if we start censoring people and artists, I'm telling my children and my sons especially that your truth is only accepted if it's nice. Like, if it's clean truth, if it's not gutter truth,
That's
you know.
good. That's
So
good.
I have to allow them to express themselves. So I can't censor what they're getting in. And what I can do as a parent is try to, like, you know, counter it with positivity and, okay, son, like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but let's take it to the word. You know, all you can be is a positive influence. If you try to put them in this bubble, you're teaching them that your truth isn't accepted unless it's clean, squeaky, shiny truth.
Right.
And what
And
you
they don't
also-
live there.
And what they also learn is really subliminally and subconsciously is deception. Because what they're doing is, well, what it takes for me to be accepted by people is to show them my shiny self,
And not
my true self.
Yeah.
My raw
Whenever
self.
them,
My
they
messed up.
hide.
They hide.
So someone's gonna see them in public doing something crazy, and they're gonna feel away because they're like, well, I've shown this person this version of myself the whole time, and now I can't, you know, it could get real crazy.
As soon as you relax,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, well, that's not you.
Right.
And that was you the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't technically think it's like when you said it's that rap music made them do that. I think it's just life that happens that creates frustration and anger. And when you get someone that acts out, that's because society constantly tells them that it's not okay to feel what you feel.
Right.
So they have all of that bottled up inside of them, and we're telling them the way they need to express it is wrong.
Very true.
And I think that where it goes backwards in that is, I think if you instill certain things into your children, then they don't tag on to artists. And I say tag on to artists because you have those kids that tag on to what artists are saying and doing, and they're like, oh, I want to be like him. Right. So if you know what I mean, you instill that in that person, then you just really understand the love for the music and not what he's
and not what he's saying. And I totally agree because if you was raised in a home where you have both your parents You know, say you guys didn't struggle financially, all that stuff, man. You good, you know what I'm saying? And they taught you good morals, values and principles and things like that. You could go listen to an artist and hear what he's saying, and it's like, oh, okay, that's all right.
You take it for the
And
entertainment
it
value.
and it not affect you.
Exactly.
But you can take somebody who see what this artist is talking about on a day-to-day basis, whether he's talking about, you know, living in a struggle or different addictions or whatever it may be. And you're like, man, I can identify with that.
Right.
And he's not getting that from home, and he'll easily attach himself to that artist.
Right. And for me specifically, when I would hear hip hop, you know, I have a mixed family. Part of my family is this way, and like a lot of other part of the family is that way. And my dad did his best to show me the respectability way. However, when I would listen to hip hop, I would hear other perspectives, and it made me more empathetic to a different type of lifestyle that my dad worked hard for me not to be in.
Same.
But I understood that someone right now is living that lifestyle, which gave me kind of a mission. And I think the same way with you, you know, for what I know about you as an artist, you come from a different lifestyle, but you transitioned. But you know what that is, you know what I mean? And there's some kid right now that's in the trap. It's not because they want to, it's because this is the only opportunity that is right in front of them. And they have to navigate, you know, Hov did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that. But people still going through it, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I was thinking of this one thing, because I know a couple trap artists here, and they throw parties and stuff, and you have all of these high school and middle school kids just praising them whenever they go on stage or whatever. And you see, like, on their social media, the drugs, you see the guns, and it's like, do you feel that those kids will soon to try to get into that lifestyle, though?
I don't necessarily agree. You have children.
I mean, I think what I work really hard to in my house is give my children tangible role models. People, you know, if you raise your children up and they think the level of success they're trying to reach is the Jay-Z's and the Lucci's and all of those different people, you're teaching them that if they don't achieve that, then they're failures. So what I try to do is give them the Reggie Roccs and give them the local artists.
Right.
That's tangible success.
Right.
I want them to measure success and fame differently.
Right.
Wow.
So it's the tool that you give them, you know, the measurement of success that you give them. That's why we did the letters to your younger self, so
Right.
that we could show
That's dope.
kids in this community tangible success. Because if they grow up thinking, if I don't have the level of fame as Jordan, and I don't have the level of
I'm not
fame as
successful.
Jay-Z, then I'm a failure.
Right.
And that's
And-
the difference
and-
between a person that idolizes the music and
Right.
idolizes the lifestyle.
Right, because I never thought I've never thought I'd have a clothing line. I never thought I'd have an album out. You know what I mean? I never thought I'll be performing in Vegas. I never thought I'll be performing at the Barnes Secure Center. You know, I never thought these things. So if I never do anything else, I've reached my level of success to even what I thought for me. So I never let anybody say, oh, you ain't did this or you ain't done enough. You know what I'm saying? So I've done way more than I even expected, you know what I'm saying, from my personal,
For sure.
you know, my life. So.
And I have no problem with speaking your experience, but when it comes to the language of speaking your experience, as well as the visuals of some of the music videos and some of the songs, what do you say to that?
Okay, that's a little rough.
Yeah, I have a different.
I think this is where I switch from my sons to my daughters. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's how women are portrayed in a lot of the videos. And, but once again, it comes back home. You know, it's like if I spent 18 years, and it ain't just 18, okay? But if I spent 18 years raising and instilling in my daughters that they're queens, I don't care how many videos that refer to them another way, I'm going to still reinforce that you are a queen.
Amen.
So it's like, you're not going to, trust me parents, you can try all you want to, you're not going to keep them from seeing outside of the window.
Absolutely.
You're just not. The only thing you can do is counter that with positive influence. And for every trap person that calls you a B, there is Nikki Giovanni, Maya Angelou.
Amen.
There are people who call you queens. For every person who says you're a drug dealer, you ain't gonna amount to nothing, you're gonna be in prison, there are Marcus Garveys, there are Malcolm X's, there are people who are saying, that's Angie Stone who sung it, my brother. There are people who know you are kings. So you have to counter everything with the positivity.
I definitely agree with that. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
She basically said everything. You know, I
That's pretty
thought,
much
you know,
like the way I was listening to something today, is that we're living in a world with two forces where you got your physical and you have the spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is that we get so influenced by the physical that spiritually we're dying. You know what I'm saying? We're dying, and then what we show them on TV, as far as like when we degrade women, or a man shows that only thing he's good for is just having, you know, sex with a woman and creating babies and not taking care of them. You know what I'm saying? If we portray these things that we don't care, we don't give a F for all these other things that a lot of people deem as cool, because I hear the conversations. Yeah. I hear the conversations from the youth. This ain't nothing that I'm just speculating about.
Yeah.
You know, I hear how they talk. So this is something that is a reality. And so when you see these physical things going on, they don't even understand that this is a spiritual thing as well.
There's an adage where it says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child.
Yeah.
But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I think part of being a child is being immature, honestly. You're gonna do something immature, you're gonna say something that's immature. There comes to a point, if you really progress into adulthood, you know the difference. All right, I don't need to be out here. And you can't use the excuse, well, I heard somebody say it and you 35 years old.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Please let that go.
You gotta, I need you to relax a little bit.
Okay,
and
but
even,
go ahead.
Even
and then
off
I
the
go to
basis
my last
of what
question.
you said, I do think it's a big issue in the Black community. Like, you know, whether we like to admit it or not, but what can you do about it besides, like she said, just give that positive reinforcement. That's all you really, you know, you have to do. But it's definitely an issue, because I can sit back and even pick up on something that my mind is conditioned from seeing, you know what I mean, and watching on TV and just seeing it constantly.
Right. Okay, so here's my last question. We touched on it a little bit with you. You spoke on it a little bit. I didn't want to go deep in detail because I was saving this for the end. Do you think that there should be an age requirement to certain types of music?
I do believe it should be an age requirement, just like movies.
I do too.
Because the mind is not fully developed at a certain age, so it cannot understand certain concepts. However, I do not believe choice should be removed. I believe choice is what teaches you the deepest lessons, because when you know you made a choice to do something and it does not work out the way you thought it should work, it teaches you another lesson that someone else could utter to you. It always does, and then you know for a fact, like, you know what? I called that woman the B word or whatever. She smacked me dead in my mouth. And I didn't expect that to happen. And she told me, respect you wouldn't talk to your mother like that. And you knew deep down that wasn't cool. You may have heard your mom's voice through it. So like, I think like that's very important for understanding censorship versus allowance, you know what I mean?
And I definitely agree. You can't put up walls to a house before you lay the floor. So I feel like your kids need to have a foundation before you allow them to have that influence.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Awesome. I think we had a great conversation. We definitely talked about the influence that music has on not only just our community, but on any community in general. So I think that we had a great conversation. Reggie, I know that you have some new stuff that's coming out. Just speak on that just a little bit, okay?
Rock Bottom Apparel just released its fall and winter collection. So we have that. We'll soon be releasing a VIP Rock Bottom membership club as well. Project Love Letter doing some great things, and look out for us and Band 2.0 to be in the city near you.
Right here, man. You are the man. All right, thank you all for tuning in for this episode of In the Middle with this amazing panel and our special guest, Reggie. Make sure that you follow us, like our page, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in. All of our media handles are on the link below.